Welcome, Adrienne.
Really close.
Really close. and it's a chance. We just told about Genesis, your company. In France, we know you as well as a TV presenter. Nobody is perfect. You were a TV presenter, but today and since years, you've been the co-founder of Genesis.
Yes.
Genesis
is an environmental agency.
Yes.
We monitor regeneration projects over time, but that's right. Until 2018, I was journalist. I presented the news, and I was working in a world far removed from the agricultural sector.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Really far removed, and in a way, when we discovered, it was, I think, in 2010, we discovered organics. We discovered at the same time that when it's not organics, it's quite disgusting. So we were always talking about soil, we were polluted, about land, we were polluted. Do you remember the scandal of green tides in France? So animals were stuffed with chemicals. So everything was really, was awful. So, and at the same time, and just I had something, sometimes people say that we were agribashing journalists. Maybe you have heard the same because you are a journalist.
Yeah, I don't like this word, agribashing, but we can, this is a whole discussion.
Yes, but that's right, that farmers, they are not responsible.
Exactly.
That. And that's really interesting to see that farmer, we need them. That's the only job, the only profession that we need all day, not 3 times a day. It's not only for food. We need them from our bed, cotton sheets, to our bathroom with cosmetic. All the cosmetic, or the large part of cosmetic, are biosourced. So we need farmers, but at the same time we said that it's going on the wrong way. So how we can do something? And that's the beginning of Genesis. The beginning of Genesis is how we can change that, how we can find a way to transform the farming, this kind of farming. And now I have to talk about one of my convictions as a journalist. It's always because of a lack of information that we take the wrong decision.
And it's because of lack of information that we talk about agribashing, because I think it's more being not knowing what farmers do that we're quite critical. It's working, it's working.
Ah, yeah, it works, okay. Yes, that's right. You see, it's not nice, but what is the first thing that do a dictator? A dictator.
Yes.
A dictator, he controls information. Because with quality information, you can take conscious action. So we need this kind of information about our land use. And we have set this agency, Genesis, to provide clients, our clients, companies, but also farmers, with the same language about land use, from the farmer to the company to the bank, so everyone can understand our impact on land.
Is it, would you say it's kind of a news agency, Genesis, like a news agency that we use at ARTE or Canal Plus to get our constant, permanent feed of information? Is it the way it works for a company like Moët & being your customer?
In a way, we can say that, yeah, because I think we try to find the best information about soil, the most accurate information. So it's like an agency. We try to find also the most reliable information. So we have a lot of quality tests. We are totally transparent about our methodology. So we act as a third party. Mm-hmm. So in a way, yes, we are like an information agency, I think, yeah.
And when you're talking about methodology, I think your DNA at Genesis is really scientific. Yeah. How did you build or did you develop your indicator about soil health?
Yes, that's really important because we have to find the right indicators. So right from the start, we surrounded ourselves with experts. It was necessary because I'm not an expert, absolutely not. And so it was pedologists, biologists, data scientists, we need them a lot, data scientists, ecologists, so to work with us. And at the same time, we have built a lot of partnership with public research institutes, and we were involved in many research programs at the European level. It was really, really important because it's with all this kind of expertise that we have selected the best indicators. So when we talk about best indicators, it's indicators who can help us to know how the soil is functioning. Mm-hmm. So if it helps for the climate, if it helps for the biodiversity, if it's help for water cycling also. So we have DNA indicators. I'm not sure that you are really, you want to know more about that, but we have DNA indicators, we characterize the carbon, we have many, many indicators. And after this raw data, we transform it in a simple language, we normalize the data, and we transform it in a simple language, a rating between 0 to 100. And we monitor practices with satellite over time, and we make correlation between satellites and this impact measurement to know which practices have the best impact, because that shows that farmers need also some tools to act.
Yeah. You're asking if we're interested into all these details. I think it's super interesting because it's all a matter of definition. What is soil health? Because to me, as a science journalist, it's structure, it's the life within the soil, it's also the nutrients within the soil, and you're considering all these aspects of
Yes,
soil.
we are considering all these aspects. You know, it's my turn to ask you something.
Yes, please.
How you define human health?
I would say you cannot separate it from soil health and from all the livings.
It's really hard to define health.
Yes.
Really hard. So there's
complex.
no, 5 years ago when we begin the story of Genesis, there's no consensus about soil health. But there's no interest about soil 5 years ago. Even here at ChangeNOW, I remember a talk with a part of the team and said, why are you not talking about soil? Oh, we are talking about food. Okay, but you are talking about ocean, water. You are not talking about fishery. So, you know, I think it's an emerging concern. It's really new. And now we have, I think, that's the beginning of the consensus about how to define the soil health.
And what makes the difference between what you're doing at Genesis and something that INRAE, CNRS, or Wageningen would do, or even an NGO like Pour une agriculture du vivant, PADV, with the regeneration indicator? What's the difference between all these approaches?
INRAE, Wageningen, they are public research institutes, and we need them a lot. That's really important. We need to invest in soil science. So they help us to find best indicators. So we need them for that. It's really important. I think it's only the beginning of the story for soil. So we need them to research, and we make the innovation. My job is to make a business tool. So it's not the same. Mm-hmm. And for the other kind of company or NGO, I think there's one difference between companies who are focusing on means and others who are focusing on results. And at Genesis, we are more focusing on results. Our goal is to know if you have an impact or not. Mm-hmm. After, we are looking at the mean, so how you can define the best practices. But the result is our goal.
And do you work with farmers in collecting the data?
We are not working exactly with farmers. We work with farmers because we need them to have the map of the farm. They allow us to go in the field. They allow us to share their data because that's their data with companies. So they help us at the beginning of the project. But when we go in the field, it's always with some partners. We have partners over the world. We have a network of partners. And they're going to feel because, you know, a farmer could be biased when he makes some sampling, and not in the way that we can imagine, because sometimes they want to know why in this part of the field something is going wrong. So, you know, they are not independent.
So you think they are biased?
Yeah, they are biased.
Okay, it's interesting. I mean, that's. I was talking about pour une agriculture du vivant, this regeneration indicator. They're going the exact other way around and giving everything to the farmers and telling them, let's measure it yourself.
Yeah, but you know, it's. I think it's not an opposite.
Yes.
Because we work together. So
Okay.
we can work together. That's not a problem. It's 2 points of view, I think.
Okay. And you were talking about how transparent you are with the methodology. Are you as well transparent with the data? Who's owning your data? Is it...
Well, using our data. So as I said before, our clients are all the companies who need to commit on land use. And with more than 60% of world GDPs depending on soil, we could have a lot of clients. But they come from textile, cosmetics, food industry. You talked about Moet & Cie before. We work also with bank, and then bank insurance, because there's an idea of risk. Yes, there's a risk with soil. And when they come to see us, the first step is because they want to know, to understand, to know the impact. The second step is because they want to improve the impact. So it's in regenerative project.
Yes.
Yeah. And the third step, it's when they need to report about the impact. So we help them for that too.
Okay, but could you imagine something like an open source? Of course, I mean, you're a private company, but could it be open source? Could it be open to everybody who's willing to make soils more healthy?
Yes, as I said before, we need more knowledge about soil. So it's something that we are working on. And we think that in the near future, we will share our data with everyone, yeah.
Okay. And
because it's a common good.
And you conduct your soil sampling in-house, so to say, in 15 countries through the world, right?
Yes, we are. We are working in Brazil, Argentina, Turkey, United States, obviously in Europe. It's always in a new pedoclimatic context with new specificity. And as I said before, we have some partners for that. Yeah. And, you know, in a new company, you have a lot of surprise. And one surprise we had was that soil is a dangerous matter. You know that? Because it's a living matter, it's considered as dangerous. So it's really hard to move soil from a country to another country.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes you are like an arms dealer, you know? You are with your sample of soil and you say, okay, what can I do? And so we discovered that 3 years ago, and we have to quickly make a partnership with a laboratory. We met our standards around the world. But you know, there's a lot of things about soil that we don't think.
Well, when you know that there are more living organisms in a handful of soil than humans on the planet, then you can understand that people are a bit more careful about transporting soil from a country to another one.
Because
no, don't you think?
I think there's 2 reasons. Because there's contamination. After the COVID, we are quite nervous. We can understand that. And yes, that's right. Soil is, I think it's what Mr. de Malleray told before. Soil is a strategic information because it's our food system, it's our sustainability, and more countries are looking at their soil. I think China.
Yes.
They have a soil strategy now, because after 4 decades of intensive agriculture, China is still lacking on both quality and quantity. Australia is the same. They have a big soil survey now. America, at Davos, at the World Economic Forum, Mr. Blinken, the Secretary of State, said that it's strategic. Soil are strategic for them. I think they are not philanthropic.
No.
So yes, soil is an important matter. Yeah.
Do you notice a trend worldwide? Is Europe late compared to other continents on the topic of healthy soil and regenerative agriculture?
Yes, in a way, I think not in regenerative agriculture. There's many farmers who are involved in regenerative agriculture, but at the policy level, maybe a little bit. Europe is lagging behind, I think. Europe has built a lot of new regulation, environmental regulation, since 4 years. So it's absolutely fantastic, and thanks to them. On soil, it's really difficult to move forward. They tried 15 years ago to have a common directive on soil for the soil protection. So we were the first, I think, in the world. And it never appeared. So, and now they tried to vote a new law, the soil health law. It must be voted in April for the last session of the Parliament. So we hope that it will be voted, but it's not sure. And the text is less ambitious than before.
It's the last session of the Parliament before the next European election. The MEP election coming in June. What do you expect from this text, from what's going to be adopted in April?
We need to set new targets about soil and land degradation at the European level, but we need to have a common framework, I think. That's the most important thing. If we want to make the things comparable, we need to have a common framework. And the most important thing is to agree that there are some indicators that we can share together. So we have put a foot in the door, and and we cross our finger, and we'll see.
Thank you, Adrienne. We cross our fingers with you that the soil are going to be part of this EU strategy. Thank you very, very much for this
Pierre.
Inspiring chat. And I take the opportunity to tell you that we are talking about the European election, the first European debate for the MEP election in June this year will take place at ChangeNOW tomorrow. This will be a very important occasion to ask the candidates and for the citizens to get to know the French leading candidates tomorrow for the MEP election.
How ambitious they could be.
How many issues on soils, ecology, food and agriculture in general. This will be, I hope that we will see you there and asking questions, and all of you as well. Thank you. And after this session, if you need more examples, you can look at Genesis, Climate Farmers, you can follow the COP16, where Monsieur Donwary is going to be an environment and soil advocate. You can look at Earth Plus with Elena Doms, and we wait for you at the next World Living Soils Forums of Sandrine Sommer and Mwetensi in October. And if you're looking for examples and solutions, you can also look at my YouTube channel, TousTerriens Field Trip, and you will find 50 to hundreds of examples how farmers, because they are the middle, you said it, of the combat, of the fight for living soils, of how they are fighting for their future and our future right now. Thank you very much for attending this session about living soils. Thank you.